seems to be an awful lot of sad stories in the news today, and there are thousands missing. Does anybody care? Maybe on a channel where we talk about those faces. Talking News. Debbie. Cassie Barnes has still not been found, and it's been 2 years since her case first hit the spotlight. Breaking. Child Gable and Lily Valley both behind bars. Sarah Galloway was found. She was found alive. What happened to Sarah Galloway?
It's too heartbreaking to share.
Children are still missing. Children like Dorsey. You're in she. You just got away with it. Welcome to Talking News. Hello everyone. My name is Debbie. We use big stories to push little faces.
Hello everyone, welcome to Talking News, Chasing a Murderer. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe, also hit the notification bell if you'd like notifications whenever we have new uploads. So I like to get straight into my stories and not waste too much blabbing. And just recently we did a story on just this beautiful baby girl by the name of Mercedes Lane. She went missing. There was a silver alert instead of an amber alert put out. And we ended up finding the child, but it wasn't in the way that we had hoped. They ended up finding Mercedes in a wooded area, deceased. How they found her was the last person to have had her, Justin Miller, showed investigators where to locate her remains. So, who are Mercedes' parents? Kenneth Robert Lane, 41 years old, is the father of this child, and her mother's name is Tiffany Jo Coburn. She's only 32. How did we get to this point in the story? Well, these two parents were living in a hotel, and just 2 weeks ago posted a picture of their child, which they appeared to really, love their child, appeared to be decent parents, and it looks like, and it appears that Mercedes is quite a happy baby. But the weekend of August 12, 2021, the parents decide they need a break from little baby Mercedes, and they call on this guy by the name of Justin Lee Miller. He's 37 years old and described as a family relative. But in articles, they're saying this isn't fact. This is just how he's being relayed, and he's referred to in court filings so far. The exact relationship is still unclear. So the area that this is taking place is in Indiana. So it's the weekend of August 12, 2021. 37-year-old Justin Lee Miller shows up at the Economy Inn to pick up baby Mercedes. It is believed that security cameras actually catch Justin leaving the Economy Inn with the baby. The parents actually enjoy having the weekend without baby Mercedes, but they tried to contact Justin because they want to bring their baby back home. But the parents are having difficulty getting contact with Justin. And this is happening around August 14th and 15th that all this is going on. At that point, the parents become very concerned that they're not able to get a hold of Justin, and they reach out to police. And on August 15th, the police were called out to the Economy Inn. The officer that come out for this case is Stuart Krynock. The parents plead with Officer Krynock that they had left Mercedes with Miller on Friday, and that he was supposed to bring her back to them the next day. In affidavits, it says, quote, both parents attempted to get a hold of Miller numerous times and could not contact him. They finally contacted him on Sunday, and Justin Miller advised the parents that he had dropped Mercedes off with a neighbor since Lane and Tiffany were not there at the time, and no one had seen the baby since. Now, something I want to kind of address here is I've had people write and tell me, this isn't fact, this is hearsay, that the parents have had a drug problem, at least in the past. And a few stories state that the grandmother of Mercedes had begged and pleaded for authorities and other officials to look into the safety of Mercedes. They've suggested that CPS be involved, welfare checks be involved. That's what we're hearing right now. So now we're at a point to where the parents have a babysitter take the baby, and now they can't get a hold of the guy. And then when they finally get a hold of him on Sunday, several days later, he's given them several different stories. The police at that point can't find Justin Miller. And so they put out a silver alert for the missing child, and they give a description of Justin Miller, the child, and as well as the vehicle he was driving. And hours later, police are able to locate Justin Miller, but the problem is the baby's not with him. Where is baby Mercedes? Police haul Justin Miller in. He's charged with neglect, and soon afterwards, the parents are also arrested and charged with neglect. So let's hop backwards a little bit. We know that the parents hand baby Mercedes over to Justin Miller, and he has the baby for a few days. Once Justin is arrested, they ask him, to tell the police what happened. Meanwhile, police are talking to other people, eyewitnesses that might have seen Miller with Mercedes, one of them being Justin Miller's friend. He tells cops that Justin Miller had first shown up at his home on Friday, August 13th for a while and left, and then came back on Sunday, the 15th of August. But this time, he was without the child. So the police are able to put together a bit of a timeline as to where Mercedes was at what time. Now, for some reason, according to articles, affidavits, they say that both parents, Lane and Tiffany, were uncooperative in looking for their child. They weren't returning calls, and this is according to the affidavit. So the police finally contact the mother, Tiffany, by phone. And according to them, she promised to come into the police station to speak with investigators about her missing daughter. But she says she was waiting for a ride from her sister. The clock, it's ticking, and hours go by. Police are sitting there waiting, and Tiffany hasn't showed up. They try to call her, and they find out that her phone is turned off. At that point, police decide to reach out to her sister, who said she hadn't heard from Tiffany. So there you can see the parents are kind of lying to police and investigators. So it's August 16th, around 1:30 p.m. Investigators, they go out and they find Tiffany. They say that she has 3 other daughters. And they find her with her children at the Economy Inn. This must have been horrible for those children because they end up arresting Tiffany. And the sad part is this, guys. Tiffany allegedly confesses that she and her husband are communicating with Justin Miller through Facebook Messenger. And this is during the time that their child is missing. Investigators are now interested in finding her. I don't know if it's her husband, but the father of Mercedes. Tiffany tells the investigators that she don't know where he was or where he is. But several hours later, Lane is actually arrested at Economy Inn around 6:30 that evening. During his arrest, they say that he was under the influence of some unknown substance. So obviously they are some type of addict, and their addiction is what comes first in their life above their children, and that's sad. Even sadder is the fact that Lane reportedly admitted to having been in touch with Miller throughout the weekend, but he said he didn't know where he was. So you have these parents that reported Mercedes missing, yet they are talking with the person that they're looking for, the main suspect, and not telling police. So that doesn't make any sense, because a lot of us are wondering, why are the parents being arrested? We know that they neglected the child, but there must be more going on. Well, now we're finding out they were aiding and abetting. Now, police are talking to Justin Miller and the parents, but all of them, their stories are not matching up. They don't make sense. But investigators continue to work with Justin Miller. They don't give up on that baby. They try very hard to get this guy to talk. And then we hear several days later that police they went out to a rural area in Indiana, and that they had located these baby remains in a thick brush. And it wasn't long, and they confirmed that it was the missing child, Mercedes Lane. So let's kind of jump back a little bit. So they arrest Justin Miller, and they talk to him a bit. They ask him about where he went with the baby and what happened to the baby. When was the last time he knew he had the baby? But they're learning that Justin Miller's story, it just keeps changing. He said at first he claimed to have taken Mercedes to McDonald's, then his buddy's place for a few days. Then Miller said that he had actually gone to his girlfriend's house, but he was kicked out on that Saturday, which is when he went to stay with his friend. Along the way, Miller told investigators he dropped Mercedes off at the Economy Inn with a heavy-set white woman. He had supposedly seen this woman previously going in and out of the baby's parents' room. But according to this news article, police actually look into this claim for a bit, but they discovered that whatever he was saying attached to this heavy-set white woman was untrue. And so they collected this information off of the prosecutor, Nelson Chipman, at a news conference. So part of it is true. I haven't had time to investigate in this super deep, because we have found her now, and I usually don't push real hard and unless I feel a case is being neglected a little bit. But investigators and police were on this one, and they did a great job. So I don't feel like justice is in need here, because I feel that they've got it under wraps. They got it under control. So investigators are dealing with these stories that just don't collaborate. But one thing, it was true, Justin was visiting a friend. And the friend said, yes, he did visit his house, but also he had left at one point. The friend says that he did see the baby with him the first time, but on the second visit, the baby was no longer there. Now, somehow, the police did get Justin Miller to lead them to the remains of the child. He also gave them a story of what happened, which I only have part of that story. Justin said that he had the child, that he had smoked synthetic marijuana a couple of times while the child was under his care, and that he went to sleep. And when he woke up that next morning, the child was deceased. So my concern is, we know that he's dragging this baby around a friend's house. We know he has a drug addiction. what was he really doing with baby Mercedes. So right now, when they recovered the remains of the baby, they were set to perform an autopsy, and those results are not in at this time. We believe once those results come in, based on those results, more charges will be put in place. So this is something interesting. Police say that though they arrested the parents of baby Mercedes, they really don't have any evidence or leads attaching them to the disappearance and the cause that she disappeared. And that they really don't have evidence that the mother or the father were directly involved with their daughter's death. However, new information coming out, mostly from the grandmother, is that during recent times, allegedly, they tried to convince authorities to take baby Mercedes away for the child's own safety. And we all know that sometimes it's difficult to figure out what is truth. It's not always easy. But when in doubt, CPS should take the child, at least for a period of time, in order to figure it out, instead of leaving the child with the parents until they figure it out. So here we have all the major signs that this was definitely a safety concern, is the fact that the parents show signs of addiction issues. They're living in a hotel, not that it's bad, but when you're having to do this and you suspect addiction problems, that's just more negative. And you have people reaching out to you saying to look into the child's safety. A CPS fail again. One thing I can say about our nation, while we do have the greatest nation, it's falling behind big time. Our laws are outdated. We have modern times with old laws. And they don't know what to do with the old laws because they really don't fit in today's circumstances. So I believe as a community, no matter where you're at, we need to work together on pushing our leaders into updating our laws, our community, and the way things work. We can't keep having this blame game between authorities, police, and the CPS, because this is something we often run into. They point fingers at each other because the system just doesn't work. We have far too many children. Summer Wells, Cupcake, Malia Davis, Noah, Dulce, Oren and Oran West. 2 boys remain missing without a trace. Adopted parents. Exclamation point. Baby Dior. Jasmine Robinson. This list goes on and on. Though many of the missing children in our nation are runaways or parent adopted, the rise of questionable missing children is just insane. The majority of the missing children are white, black, biracial, and Hispanic. While I never compare skin, they do in statistics for some reason, I just include them all into one number. And if you do that, the numbers become insanely real. It just doesn't make sense to me. So we have, just to do it for an example, you have 2 white kids missing, 2 black kids missing, 1 Hispanic missing, 1 Asian missing, and 5 biracial. When we look at it in that way, we really don't get the reality of the total. The total missing is 9. 9 children missing. So, as long as we continue to address things in a separation, we fail, I believe. They preach about, treating people as a human being, yet they do not approach it in that way. And so this is taught to the children, and they continue to look at each other as if they're aliens. The truth is this, guys, we have a serious problem in this nation. In every race stereotype that you can think of. It affects every single group. And if there is one group more active than another, shouldn't sway the fact that this is affecting everybody. And the fact that our CPS have let down so many children since I started this channel several years ago, it's just unbelievable. Now, I wasn't able to do major research on this, but we at least shared the story, and I wanted to send out my love to the family for baby Mercedes. It's a horrible, tragic ending for such a lovely little face. An innocent angel who depended on the people who loved her, and most of all, the people that she loved. The parents, how they acted after reporting her missing is just incredibly unreal. I cannot relate to that. These parents were supposed to have loved this child, but their actions showed that their personal greed meant more than the child. If you are a parent who is struggling with addiction, and you, especially if you have children, know you can beat it, you can get past it, and there's help for you. I know it doesn't seem like it, you just got to find it in the right place. If you need help, you can even reach out to me at chasing.a.murderer@gmail.com. Don't let addiction lead and ruin your life, and especially don't let it ruin the lives of the children that love you most. Okay guys, I'm going to end this one here. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching these videos, and if you share them, thank you so much. It really does make a difference. I want to do a major shout out to those that have been donating to my Patreon. You guys freaking rock. I love you guys. And to those of you that have commented, have shared, and who have been here from the very beginning, my gosh, my gratitude, it just extends on and on and on. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you guys. Not only that, I really do truly care and love for you guys. So I'm learning you guys as we have been growing this channel for the past few years, and I've come to know a few of you, and you're just some of the greatest people in this world. You have great hearts and just so kind. I hope around Christmas time we're going to do some major shout outs and do something fun. Stay strong, everyone. Be safe out there. That Delta is out there and running amok. And I'll see you guys next video.